last season truly does feel like a year one and probably not the regular for Alabama. We get that indication not just from what we know is returning to Alabama in 2025, but how they are cashing in 2026 too. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you believe that Alabama can hold on to all 5 of these 5 stars in on 3, 4 5 stars, and the composite going into signing day for the 2026 class? Because right now, they are heads and tails, pound for pound, leading the charge. Like, you're going to look at the composite ranking, you're going to see 6, right? But I think if you know, you know. Like, USC's got a pretty big class so far committed. They're at number 1. The more bodies, the more numbers go up, so forth, so on. But pound for pound, nobody is competing with Alabama in recruiting right now, man. Like, they got 5. They got 5 on 3 of 5 stars. All right, so we're talking about Xavier Griffin, a linebacker. We're talking about Jireh Edwards, who committed earlier on Saturday as safety. Xavier Crowell at running back. Sadarian Morgan, wide receiver, and Jordan Edmonds at cornerback. That also speaks volumes to me because you're not just getting the best players at one position group. You are getting the best player at a position group on both sides of the ball. And we're still in just the first few days of July here. And commitment season, begins to take up and pick up speed in June and July and into August. And we'll find out just where most of the top 100 is already planning to go, save a few before the season starts. Most players want to be committed to play their college football wherever going into their senior season. Couple of reasons as to why. One is the distraction is gone. You don't have to take on the phone calls or the text messages like you would have if you were uncommitted. Number 2, it's much more fun to be cited as a commit to X while playing your last year of high school football. Right? You're going to hear a lot about Florida State commit Jaden O'Neal at Mustang High School in Oklahoma if you are from here locally. We do this. That's what sports writers do. That's what talk show hosts do. We lead with this sort of title because it does mean something. It also makes you a marked man when you go in to play other teams. Like, I remember playing at Memorial. My head coach, Mike Adams, Cole Adams' father. Cole Adams plays wide receiver at Alabama. And we're getting ready to play Muskogee. And at the time, Jameel Owens was committed to Oklahoma. And all week, all it was who's going to hit OU boy. That's it. That's all. That makes you that dude, right? This is also going to be true for players like Texas Tech's Felix Ojo, who is going to be marked as the $5 million man, even though the base salary is about a little under $800,000 a year with room for incentives and an escalator that gets you to year 3 because that's your draft eligible year, and that's the year you're most likely to go into the transfer portal if you don't already, right? To say nothing of, we don't even know the buyout language in this thing. But when I look at what Alabama has done in recruiting, I can also see the name, image, and likeness collectives have already been pulling in the same direction, right? Alabama, Ohio State, Missouri, Texas Tech, these are some of the class collectives working today. And I can also see how the revenue sharing is going to really make this a lot sexier because the SEC and the Big Ten make way more money in their revenue share than many others, even if the cap is $20.8 million across. There are programs with the entire athletic department doesn't even have half that budget to work with, let alone can allocate it to its athletic department to pay players. And then you look around and you ask, what's changed going into this year versus last? And I tell you, Kalen DeBoer has had a full season and a full offseason. That's it, man. Nick Saban decided to retire in January of last year. And as good as Alabama was, the exodus did hurt them. I believe that, it set them back for their quarterback of the future. We'll see how Ty Simpson is. We'll talk about him in another segment. But you wanted Julian Sayin, right? You also wanted to keep Caleb Downs. And I think you wanted to keep Caleb Downs more than you want to keep Julian Sayin because I truly believe that's the best defender in college football today. You lost him and Julian Sayin, Ohio State, guys that you might have to play in the college football playoff. And let's not be coy about it. Alabama is going to be in the thick of it for one of those spots. And because of the straight seeding this year, they're not likely to get boxed out by an SMU who got to play in their conference championship game and an Alabama that didn't. Now, that said, people forget. I mean, Bama fans won't, but people forget. Bama started out 4-0 with a win against number 2 Georgia. They looked for everybody, the almighty, like they were going to defend their SEC championship with Jalen Milroe at quarterback. And then they dropped 2 of their next 3, including at Vanderbilt and at Tennessee. And then they dropped 2 of their last 3, including at Oklahoma and then neutral site game, ReliaQuest Bowl against the plucky Michigan team that finished on a very high note with wins against Ohio State and Alabama to go out and get ready for this 2025 season. I also think that Nick Saban ain't necessarily, running things, but he is still very much rooting for, pulling for, recruiting on behalf of Alabama. That's not nothing. It is becoming, I believe, much more of an heirloom to say that you played for Nick Saban than any other coach probably in history, because so many of those guys are not just in the NFL now, but they were great college players who have become great NFL players. I'm thinking about guys like Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts, who now have won a Super Bowl together with the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you beat a Nick Saban team, you're holding on to that. I'm thinking about Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, so forth at Georgia. I think this is going to become the thing for DeBoer. And when you hear Deontay Lawson talk about this program, or you hear Ty Simpson, a couple of their leaders, talk about this program, they are adamant that the gloves are off, right? Year 1 was year 1. This is year 2. And Coach DeBoer is coaching us hard. And we expect to compete. We expect to be good right away. And they'll need to be. Like, I don't know how good or bad Florida State's going to be. I hope that they're better this year than they were last year. But I don't know that they're going to be as good this year as they were the year before last. Remember, this is a team that went undefeated and got boxed out of the playoff by the committee, and then turned around and went 2-10. The most dramatic turn in fortunes that I have seen, east of Oklahoma, 2022 to 2023, 2023 to 2024. Goodness me, man. I just didn't see that for them. But as I'm looking at how this is all adding up and they're able to stack these guys, you're also able to look around and go, they're paying the right general manager, right? Courtney's earning his keep. At the time that he re-upped, he was the highest paid general manager in college football. And I think that number's going to keep going up. That is going to be the second most important person in your football organization. And you can really tie winning to the head coach and the general manager partnership, not unlike at the NFL level. So when you think about James Blanchard and Joey McGuire at Texas Tech, they pop up, right? You think about Courtney and Kalen at Alabama. I am really excited about Brent Venables and Jim Nagy. I think with one guy's ability to coach and one guy's ability to talent evaluate, you're getting into a really good spot. And I think that is also showing up when we talk about what the Tide are going to be about in 2025. Remember, they were able to get Ryan Williams in the boat and turn him into an absolute star. Had Jeremiah Smith not been Jeremiah Smith last year, we're probably talking about Ryan Williams a lot more than we were last year, right? Especially with him being on the cover of EA Sports College Football 26 when it comes out, along with guys like, Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs. But again, I got to tip a cap to Courtney Morgan on his thing, because he is really doing a great job of helping put together this high school class while keeping them really competitive in the portal as well. Remember, they went and got the best linebacker at Colorado to transfer to Alabama just this year. We're also talking about a man who is managing a roster that's constantly in flux, which is the job, right? But if you're looking at what he was able to do and you don't know much about Morgan, you should know that the Washington Huskies went 4-8, and then DeBoer arrived with Morgan, and they turn around, they're playing, in the college football playoff national championship game, and claiming back-to-back Pac-12 championships against really great Oregon teams, 25-3 during their tenure at Washington. And I'm really excited to see this core together, because I also think one of the reasons they're going to be good in 2025 and into 2026 is I don't see this core being broken up. Maybe Kane Womack, maybe, But when you bring Ryan Grubb in and you're able to hang on to Nick Sheridan, you're able to keep Courtney Morgan, and you're able to keep Kalen DeBoer, you're creating the kind of continuity that you've seen at other places that work, like Texas, like Ohio State. And I don't mind telling you, and I'm sure Alabama doesn't mind reminding you, Courtney was the first hire that Kalen DeBoer made. Not coordinator, not secretary. It was that person. So when we're talking about how they're able to get these guys in the boat and whether or not they can stay, I understand signing day is a very long way away. I also understand that the portal it opens every year, twice a year. But the momentum that they have is sustainable, and I just don't see them losing all of these guys. And I certainly don't see them losing 4 of the 5. And if they add yet another one, goodness me, man. If Keelan Russell is ready next year, or if Ty Simpson shows out this year, yeah, they're going to be there again. I think the 9 wins is a fluke because you're not going to lose to Vanderbilt in Tuscaloosa, or at least I don't think you are, on Nick Saban Field. I also don't think that you're likely to drop that game at Tennessee when it's at Alabama, and I think Oklahoma was much more of a found money game for Oklahoma than it was a bad game for Alabama. Jalen Milroe didn't play well in that game, and then Michigan just bit you. Like they were able to do what they saw Oklahoma do, right? Keep a low-scoring game, win that game 19-13. So you tell me, do you think that the 5 stars, according to On3, are going to stick for Alabama, or perhaps it's just July?